Hello and welcome to Constraining the X-Bar, Chapter 8 of Syntax, featuring
Ian Hancock and Elizabeth Lyons.
So last we talked, X-Bar theory was a little unrestrained. It was doing something called overgeneration. And by that I mean it was generating sentences, both grammatical and ungrammatical. Currently, in X-Bar theory, complements are optional. So, with verbs like love, placed, and found, complements are optional, meaning that we could produce sentences like I love, he placed, she found.
What's the problem?
What's wrong with these sentences?
With selectional restrictions, we can have different verb types require different arguments, such as the intransitive I slept, which is a grammatical sentence, the transitive I ate dinner, which has a direct object, and the ditransitive I put the pencil on the table, which has a direct object in an adverbial phrase.
So with these sentences, with for example ate, we need a direct object. Eats is a transitive verb, meaning it requires a direct object. So in X-bar theory, with complements optional, sentences like I ate get produced, which is ungrammatical because it lacks the obligatory direct object.
Is this following sentence grammatical? The rock kissed the table in the sky.
So that sentence is grammatical, but it doesn't make much semantic sense. And this brings us to the notion of thematic relations. So first of all, we'll talk about agency. Agency is a thematic relation given to the part of a sentence which does the action, the word or words that perform the action. So in this sentence, I macked on the girl and liked it. I is the agent. I performs the action of macking on.
If we look at the previous slide, the rock kissed the table. The rock is an inanimate object and therefore does not have the agency to perform the action of kissing.
The next thematic relation is experiencer. The experiencer is a living being that feels or perceives an event. It's often used with verbs of perception, such as touch, feel, smell, emotion, afraid, for example, to be afraid, and cognition, like think.
Our example sentences are I touched the Liberty Bell or syntax disheartened me. As you can see, the experiencer can be in the subject or object position.
Yes, there is no one-to-one mapping of thematic relation and structure in a sentence. So sometimes the subject is an agent, as in I hit the girl. Sorry for the bad example. But in this case, I touched Liberty Bell. The subject, I again, is an experiencer.
The next thematic relation we'll talk about is theme, the thing that is moved, experienced, or perceived. For example, I touched the Liberty Bell being the theme of the sentence. I macked on the girl and liked it. The girl is the theme, the person who experienced the macking. I wrote a poem. A poem was the thing that was written, therefore is the theme of the sentence.
Our next thematic relation is goal. Goal is pretty easy to wrap your head around. It is, in technical terms, the entity towards which motion takes place. So it's like the target of the action. With the sentence, I went to school is where the action of went happened. A sinisterly syntax sentence sprung to Steve's mind. So this sentence sprung where? It sprung in which direction, towards which direction? To Steve's mind.
Bernie should have been given the nomination. Bernie was the target of the action or motion of being given something.
Mm-hmm. All right, our next one is recipient. Recipient is like goal, except it occurs only when there's a change of possession. So I stole a cup from the cafeteria. Originally, the cup was in the cafeteria, and I stole it, thus transferring possession of the cup from the cafeteria to me.
Similarly, he got the business from me. He is the recipient of the business.
So yeah, recipients are a type of goal, and it's when a change of possession occurs. The last example, the witch gave Snow White the poison apple. So Snow White received the poison apple from the witch. Originally, the witch possessed it, the witch gave it to Snow White, and now Snow White possesses it. Thus, a change of possession occurred, making Snow White the recipient.
So now we have sort of the opposite of goal, which is the source. The source is who the action or motion came from.
It's the originator of the action, whereas goal is the final destination of the action. You can think of it like
For example, I stole a cup from the cafeteria. That is the source of the cup. He got the business from me. That is the source of the business. And the witch gave Snow White the poison apple, the witch being the source.